So our next topic is over the field analyzer tool, and it's our agronomist and precision ag specialist, Rob Meyer.
This is Rob Meyer, part of the Precision Ag team here at Prairie Land Partners. I want to discuss field analyzer today. As you can see, I have a corn yield map pulled up here, and you can see some of the pertinent information on the left. Right here are two icons, the little trash can icon, as well as the pencil icon. Trash can if you need to get rid of something. But let's go with the edit, the little pencil icon, and we're going to go directly over here to edit fields. And the reason for this is that if you have multiple combines in the field, this is a really important tool. Little slider tools. First thing you want to do is look over here and see if it looks like there's a spot you could fix. This grabs my attention initially, but I'm going to grab this and see, what part of the field did this combine harvest? Okay, I can pull it to the left or to the right to see less yield or more yield to see where it's at. There's two ways to attack this. So we can come over here and we can say, hey, let's make the two combines equal. Not too bad, but it looks like I changed more over here than I'd like it to. I'm going to put it back right here to speed things up. I spent some time looking at this, and no matter how we adjust it, if we adjust it this direction, it makes the right-hand side a little bit better, but then the left-hand side gets pretty ugly. So what I've decided is that we're going to leave it right here, but this is where you come to adjust if you have more than one combine. So you might have three in here and need to adjust a couple of them. But anyway, this is where you do it. We're going to hit done. This is the bushels that we're showing that we yielded, but we know what we got across the scale. So we're going to go in this total dry yield box and put in 16,547 bushel and 0.25. And so now we've got our scale bushels entered here. I also know that when I turned into the insurance, I turned in 116.5 planted acres or acres inside my boundary. So I'm going to put that in here as well so I can adjust my area worked as well as my dry yield. I'm going to hit save. We're going to get a nice message up here that says editing was successful, map regeneration has been queued. So as this map pulls back in, we're going to see over here that our bushels have changed, our average yield has changed, and our acres have changed. So that's how you do the editing on here. One other quick little thing right here, this field analyzer beta is something we're going to cover in another session. So make sure you tune in for that when we do that one, because it goes a little more in depth than this. So for now, let's move over to another field. So this field, the corn yield map comes up here as well. So we can see that, but what I want to draw your attention to over here is a drop down box of the operations. So we have multiple operations. This says riser application, but it looks like it was a fertilizer application that happened at seeding. So either we didn't finish the documentation on it or we had some tests going on there. But let's go to the corn seeding. So this is what we would call an as applied map. And we want to take a look at this and see these blocky things here. Those are, that's an enhanced learning block. We built that through our field command program. But what I want to do here is go over to this layer drop down. So we have multiple layers that we collected with the corn seeding. So let's go to seeding speed. We can see over here by the legend that we were over 10 miles an hour in this strip through the field. So let's go back to the as applied layer. And I would say, man, we did a really nice job of hitting our target rates on here. So that's what that looks like. That's what the as applied looks like. The other thing on this page I want to show you is come down here to our timeline. You can see the different months across here. We have an S for seeding, which is where we're at. We have an A for application, which this was an application. And we have an H down here for harvest. So if you had some other fertilizer or herbicide applications during the season that were documented, they would show up along this timeline. You can pick them from here and get what you want. Let's go back to the seeding. Up here to the right-hand corner, we can hit this drop down where the 3 bars are, and we can hit print. So we can bring up a sheet to print. We can print a PDF or we can print a hard copy, either way. Maybe we want to send it to a landlord or we want to send it to our agronomist for him to analyze things further. So there's that. Let's move on to another field quickly. This field was hand entered through the My Operations app. This was a tillage application. And you might say, well, why do we want to enter a tillage application? I would argue that we want to document every single trip we have across the field, because if we're trying to drill down to our costs, we want to know how many trips we had, when it happened, all those kind of things. When I do this, I like to put in what kind of a tillage trip it was. Was it a deep tillage trip early, or was it a late tillage trip with maybe a field cultivator? Because I know I have different costs in those two things. Okay, let's go to another field here. This field, so this is another one that's hand entered through the My Operations app. However, you can enter these with your monitor just as easy when you're actually making the operation. This is real important for you guys with box drills. So you can document this as you're drilling. You can put in your wheat variety in there, and now you've got this documentation of your date, so that when Marty goes over the analyze report with you here in a little bit, that you can have that report with the correct dates and everything in, because you did it with your monitor. You know you got the correct date when you go to the FSA office to turn that in. And that's really important. And you notice on these, either through the operations app or through the monitor, are going to look the same way. They're going to be more of a flat rate looking map instead of the as applied map like we were looking at just a little bit ago. One last thing I'd like to cover here is we're back to our edit tool. This happens a lot with drilling wheat or with fall strip till. Two things: we either forget to change our monitor to the new season in a 2630 or a 2600, or the Gen 4 monitors actually put it directly into the calendar year, and you have to change to the crop season. So in this case, we know that it was planted in 20, but we also know that it's going to be harvested in 2021, and we can change that right here so that it's in the right crop season. Because this was hand entered, we won't change acres, but this would be also where you would change acres. So we're going to hit save on this, and you're going to see the same kind of thing. We're going to get the nice message up here. The map should regenerate, and we should up here in the upper left-hand corner see our year change from 2020 to 2021. So as this is doing that, I'd like to finish up. Thanks everybody. See, we pulled in right here. We're 2021 on this now. So thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate your business. And if we have some time for questions, be glad to answer some. If not, grab one of our Precision Ag guys, and they'd be more than happy to answer questions for you. Thanks.